Welcome back, everyone, to our storytelling channel, where old tales are given new life, and every story carries a meaningful lesson for all of us. Today, I invite you to sit back, relax, and listen to a story titled Greed Almost Cost Him His Life, a strange yet deeply human journey. Though the story is set in America, its lesson crosses all borders and eras. You'll hear about a crow obsessed with shiny things that unwittingly stirs up a whirlwind of trouble, a man dreaming of an easy way to riches, and the price he almost had to pay for his greed and recklessness. Stick around until the end, because I truly believe that after this story, you'll walk away with something more valuable than any jewel-encrusted necklace people long for. Now, let's begin. In a small town on the edge of the Appalachian forest, there lived a black crow that made its home high in the treetops. Unlike other birds, it didn't care about tasty food or a warm nest. The only thing it obsessed over was anything shiny. From broken glass shards and old coins to lost necklaces and rings, the moment it spotted something glinting in the sunlight, it would swoop down, snatch it up, and hide it deep in its nest. One spring morning, as it soared through the clear blue sky, the crow happened to fly over the governor's mansion, a grand old building nestled in the middle of the dense forest, heavily guarded. Drawn by a dazzling glint from an open window, the crow dove down and entered the room of the governor's daughter. There, on the vanity, lay a bracelet encrusted with emeralds, glowing brilliantly under the sunlight. Without hesitation, the crow pecked up the bracelet and vanished into the sky within seconds. The incident immediately caused a stir throughout the town. Mansion staff screamed, guards rushed out in pursuit, but it was too late. The governor was furious upon learning that the priceless heirloom, passed down for 3 generations, had been stolen by a crow. He issued a statement offering a $1,000 reward to anyone who could recover the bracelet. The amount was enough to set the entire town buzzing. The news quickly reached a man named Kyle, who lived with his wife in a poor suburb on the west side of town. Kyle was a daydreamer, always fantasizing about getting rich, but lazy and full of excuses. His wife, a hard-working and no-nonsense woman, toiled every day to take care of the household, while Kyle mostly lay around, waiting for fortune to fall from the sky. That day, when his wife came home from the fields around noon, exhausted and with dirt-covered hands, she was furious to find him still lying in bed, having done nothing. But Kyle simply grinned and excitedly declared that their lives were about to change. He had just heard about the missing bracelet and the $1,000 reward, and was convinced this was his golden chance. His wife snapped, saying it was nothing but wishful thinking. If getting rich were that easy, everyone would be wealthy by now. She reminded him that all they had was their sweat and effort. But for once, Kyle seemed determined. He swore he would leave the next morning, find that bracelet, and lift them both out of poverty. A few days later, Kyle set off with a bag of bread, a bottle of water, and a head full of hope. He followed rumors from villagers who claimed the crow often flew west, near a shallow, muddy lake surrounded by sparse woods. The road was rough, the sun merciless, and insects swarmed constantly. He passed abandoned fields, empty farms, sometimes doubting himself, but pressed on. One sweltering afternoon, drenched in sweat, Kyle heard a strange caw from above. He looked up, and his heart skipped a beat. Something shiny had just fallen from a high branch into the reeds by a pitch-black mud lake. Without thinking, he rushed toward it, wading into the foul-smelling water. Covered in slime and muck, he clawed through the mud like a madman, desperate to find the precious bracelet. An old man passing by saw the bizarre scene and asked Kyle what he was doing in the lake. Kyle lied, saying it was too hot, so he was taking a bath. The old man looked at him skeptically, but said nothing more. He warned Kyle to be careful not to get sick, then watched silently. When the old man hinted that Kyle was looking for the bracelet, Kyle panicked, afraid he'd have to share the prize, and doubled down, digging even deeper into the mire. Suddenly, a sharp cramp seized Kyle's leg. He froze in pain, flailing in the swamp, screaming for help. Without hesitation, the old man grabbed a thick branch and pulled Kyle out just in time. Back on dry land, Kyle coughed and gasped, his face smeared with mud. Choking back tears, he thanked the old man for saving his life. The old man pointed to the tree branch where the crow had just flown off. "I was going to tell you the bracelet was still up there," he said calmly. "But you were too busy diving headfirst into the mud to listen." Kyle turned around. The branch was empty. The crow was gone, along with the bracelet. All his effort, all his dreams of a better life, had flown away with that jet-black bird. The old man looked at him with pity. "Greed blinded you," he said slowly. "You risked your life chasing a bracelet you weren't even sure was there. But what you were really chasing was just a shadow in the water." Kyle said nothing. For the first time in his life, he felt hollow and strangely at peace. He had learned the hard way. Dreams don't come true through laziness and empty fantasies. When he got home, he found his wife cooking in the kitchen. She was surprised to see him back so soon, and even more surprised by his changed demeanor. No more wild dreams, no disappointment either. And so the story comes to an end. From a raven captivated by the light, to a man who almost sacrificed his life just to chase after a dream of changing his fate. It all serves as a mirror reflecting greed and blindness, qualities that any of us could fall prey to at some point. The jeweled ring, no matter how valuable, cannot compare to a human life. And sometimes, what almost makes us lose everything is not bad luck, but the uncontrolled desires within us. Dear friend, the greatest lesson we can learn from today's story is never trade lasting values for fleeting illusions. Instead of dreaming of wealth in a single night, put your trust in your own hands, your effort, and your perseverance. If this story has helped you reflect on something in your life, don't hesitate to leave a like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any other meaningful stories in the future. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. See you in the next video, where we will explore more stories that are both ordinary and extraordinary. Goodbye, and I wish you a peaceful day.